Hi, welcome to the podcast formerly known as Early Access. I'm Chris, and I'm here with Jeremy.
My boys.
And Jake.
Hey, guys.
And we are going to talk about some video games. But first, so, on a special subreddit, r/Litecoin, this is a big week for crypto. We're going to crypto. I'm sorry. We just got to take a pit stop.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, no, this is kind of funny, though. On our Litecoin, somebody said, if Litecoin hits $100, I'll eat a jar of mayonnaise, right? So it did. All the cryptos hit like a weird milestone on the same day.
Did OP come through?
OP came through. Yeah,
Yes.
There's actually
Yes.
I'll link the video in the description. He does a pretty good job. He starts off strong, but then he just starts like vomiting aggressively.
Oh no!
And the best part about the vomiting is like it's just all straight mayonnaise. So like, he eats a lot of mayonnaise.
Does he have to eat it up again? Does he
Dude,
keep? Does that count? What's the deal?
Dude?
No, I think we kind of let him
calls
off the hook on that.
Did he finish the jar, or was it more like once he started vomiting aggressively, you kind of gave him a pat on the back?
Jar?
Oh, that's relevant.
Was it
like a Costco jar?
No, it's a fucking it's a very large.
It's the Costco.
He bought like a lot.
BJ's.
Here's a picture of him before he does it.
Oh my god, it's a huge jar.
Yeah, it's a large jar. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a picture. I'll just show it to you.
Those of you listening at home,
I might post it on the video portion, but anyways, that's
Oh,
he's having a tough go of it. It's a mayonnaise. It's definitely mayonnaise.
I showed them a little before and after, but yeah,
he's not happy.
I don't think we made him.
It is a solid white stream of mayonnaise, ladies and gentlemen. It's like someone put milk in a hose and is now letting it out.
It's like he turned on the mayonnaise faucet.
Anyways, well, I guess we'll get cooking now. We'll shift into cooking with mayonnaise. Cooking with mayonnaise.
Do you have his
You can cook,
and I can.
Mayonnaise.
We're sponsored by Blue Apron, so
it's true.
That's true.
Yes, that is true.
They were the first subscribers to our Patreon, so if you want to get in on that.
All right. Enough.
No, I thought they were our sponsor.
Yeah, but they also support.
You guys can get a great deal on Blue Apron. They'll send food to your house with the passcode podcast formerly known as Early Access. If you just type that into the coupon field, you'll get a sick deal on some Blue Apron.
Are you done?
Are you done? Is the show over?
Please post some screenshots of you putting in the code so we know it's legit.
So I just want to say, I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this. I've been testing my free Xbox from GameStop.
Attaboy. Played
about 3/4 of the Halo Reach campaign. Game's still very fun, but the one thing that I got out of it, Brian's not here today, so we can talk about the Switch as much as we want.
Pour some out.
Basically. One thing I got out of playing Halo Reach is, to all y'all naysayers who are saying that the Switch is not as powerful or just as powerful as a 360, that is not true. It is way sharp. Like, we all have that like nostalgic feel of what Halo looked like on the 360. It's not that great.
Dude,
I mean, that's pretty anecdotal.
That rock poppin'.
It's like, I turned on a 360 and I also have seen a Switch and one of them was good.
Well, no, I'm
it's
just
not really a scientific assessment.
It's not. No, it's not. But I just have this like weird.
There's a lot of other factors.
But I'm playing Doom on this. Well, I played a little bit of Doom on the Switch. I've seen Doom on the Switch, and I'm also kind of contrasting that with Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And Halo.
Yeah, but there's other factors too.
I mean, it looks better on the Switch, but it's also a tiny screen compared to what you're playing with the Xbox.
No,
if you're playing like Doom, you're locked at 30 frames with whatever.
Halo is not running it. Halo is way choppier than Doom.
That's true, but Halo Reach is what, like over 5-6 years old?
No, I'm just a lot of people say that like Switch can't run Grand Theft Auto 5 because it can't, but like that was a 360 game and.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with those people, but
yeah, no, I'm just saying. Also, Halo Reach still fun.
Except for firefight, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever try to do 4-person firefight, you're going to be disappointed.
You're going to be sorely disappointed. If you ever plan your Wednesday evening around playing firefight with the mates, don't, because you can't.
Bungie decided that
fucking
was
Bungie
really not balanced.
Went back in time and fucking ruined firefight.
Something like that. Anyways, you two have been playing Breath of the Wild. Yeah?
Indeed.
That's what they say.
You've been playing it? You want to talk about it?
So Jake, how roughly how much have you played? I think you played a little more.
So I got off the plateau and I started towards, I guess, like the first quest that you get after that.
Kakariko?
I've hit maybe 2 shrines,
right,
maybe 3 after that.
You're a little further than me, so why don't you kick it off?
Okay, so starting with, so when you launch in, you start in the...
Real quick. I guess I should... The whole point of this is to discuss why it is the greatest game of all time.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah,
10 out of
obviously.
10.
I mean, you didn't even have to say that.
So, okay.
10 out of 10
I'm
pre-release
assuming
copy.
everyone already knew that, but of course it has a
I
10
saw the
out of
box
10.
art, and I threw away all my other video games because I knew I would only need Breath of the Wild now.
Liquidated
or
his collection.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean, I saw it was $60 in the store, and I gave him $100 because I knew it was going to be that good.
I threw my gaming PC in the trash. I smashed it to pieces and threw it in the trash.
This game
Just like you should
deserves
do with
more than
that like
$60.
button, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you start off in the plateau, which is kind of like the tutorial area, and you are met with this ridiculous old man who comes in and he's like, oh, you want to get off the plateau? Well, I have this paraglider that you can have if you go check out this little shrine for me. Of course you go do that, and he comes back and he's like, dude, it's a nice job. Now go check out these 3 or else I won't give you the paraglider. And of course you have the option to say, what the fuck, man? And he just says, yeah, suck my dick.
Yeah,
you have to
he's
go
kind
do the rest
showed
of
about
them.
it.
So that was pretty
he plays
scum.
you hard. Like you're like, all right, bro, that paraglider, and he's like, ha, psych. I can't really explain that either.
But after that, the game's pretty great. Oh, and the other thing that I'm not getting here, I don't know if you can explain this as a Zelda fan, but where did they come up with Switch technology in the Hyrule Kingdom?
Oh my god.
Dude, the Sheikahs came up with
How did
it.
they do this?
The Sheikahs were an advanced civilization with technologies we're still discovering, mainly of the Nintendo Switch variety. It was a Switch-based economy back then, where you have to authenticate your Switch to get.
They're talking about the Sheikah slate. Don't worry about it.
It's a Nintendo Switch. Link needs a Switch to move magnets.
So Jeremy, besides those 2 earth-shattering opinions, do you have any others that you'd like to share? Because I do have some comments on the actual gameplay.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about the gameplay outside of what Jake just said. The old man is kind of a dick. There's some spoilers that I won't get into.
Did you have any combat? Did you fight anything?
Yeah, so I've
He
gotten...
didn't fight anything the entire time he was on the plateau.
You're on the
play video
plateau, and you
games.
can only walk from one temple to the next, and they're puzzle temples. It's not like you fight anything in the temples. So you
yeah,
could.
but
also
there's
true.
plenty of shit to do on the plateau.
Yeah, but you
No, I fought
have
everything
to.
I found.
So
I fought a Guardian for like 5 minutes
I
before
did
I just
too.
walked
I got
away.
wrecked.
Well, I was hiding behind a rock because so when you go into one of the temples, one of the second round of temples on the plateau,
Eastern Abbey.
yeah, the Abbey, I guess it's like a little broken town thing, and you're going up and you see the Guardians, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's time to roll. So let's fucking take out one of these bitches. So I'm like, I'm hiding behind a rock, I'm shooting shit at him. I take up my fucking hammer, I run up to him, I hit that hammer, no damage done, and it fucking wipes me out with its face laser. And so then the little splash screen comes up, and it's like, hey, if you don't want to get wrecked by the Guardian, don't fight him. Just run away. And I was like, thanks, splash screen or loading screen, whatever. So then I'm like, I guess this is how we're playing it. So I creep around. I climb a wall. I go to the fucking shrine. And what would you know? This shrine, coincidentally, is all about the bombs. So I'm like, all right, this is going to set me up nicely to take on those robots. Because it's like the splash screen thing was like, don't, attempt to kill a Guardian before you have, the equipment you need to take him out. And I was like, oh, these bombs. This must be the ticket.
This is what they were
Because this is what they were talking about. They're bombs, they're robots. This would probably hurt a robot thing from ancient Hyrule that played Switch all day. So I come out with my bombs, and I throw one at it. And it does, like, virtually no damage. And I'm like, okay, we just got to weaken him up a little bit. I get it. So I go behind a rock, and I'm like, I charge up the bomb, I jump out, I throw it at its face. I do this for, like, 5 minutes, and it does no damage. And then I was like, fuck this fucking noise, and I ran away. So yeah, I did that. I killed a lot of the bokoblins. Bokoblins.
Yeah.
I fucked those guys right
Dude,
up.
those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're so much fun.
Yeah.
Their AI is pretty good.
Yeah. So I think that's
AI
the
is pretty
strongest
good.
point
It's pretty
of Zelda so far is everything seems very, very much alive. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't think personally. I don't think the combat is that good. I don't like.
I think you're still a little shallow in it, but
I am. I mean, I'm only a couple hours in.
Like, are you doing shield parries and perfect dodges? And
no,
Perfect
I mean,
dodge achieved.
I don't shield parry, but I've done dodges. But I haven't. I mean, I guess I haven't gotten to the point where I need that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I guess I don't know if I'm too attached to like the roll mechanic in a game, but I don't know. I feel like being able to just jump backwards is not cutting it for me.
you could jump to the side.
Yeah, you could jump up and then fall down to the side.
No, if you have them targeted, you can side jump. It's the same as rolling. Instead of a roll animation.
Ladies and gentlemen,
please
please comment below if you think jumping is the same as rolling. Let us know. Let us know if that's the same.
If you can roll your way up a set of stairs, please comment.
But it's awesome that you can climb pretty much anything. That was one of the best parts about Mario is that you can go pretty much anywhere in the game. Yeah. And it works.
They expect you to break it.
You can do that for almost everything with Zelda as well, which is very cool.
Yeah, how do you like the climbing paragliding combo?
I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty shitty before you get the paraglider.
Yeah.
I fell off those little towers probably 10 times before I made it down, and that was a pretty terrible experience, but climbing is good. The stamina system right now is really wrecking me because you don't have that much stamina when you start.
So you can get 3 wheels, and then you can add
that
2
would definitely
or 3
help.
wheels after that.
So you can also surf down hills with your shield, which is
I haven't figured out
so
how to do
much
that
fun. You're still on the plateau when you get to the
No, I got
area.
off the plateau.
Oh,
You can do it on grass.
I know, but in the snow area, it's even better.
Yeah,
because I tried it out, and you can slide
isn't
all the way down the snow, whereas you don't. I guess
it doesn't hurt your durability.
What do you do? Do you throw the shield on the ground and jump on it?
You hold shield, you jump, and then you press A, and it'll
obviously.
slide down.
So this is a criticism I have of Breath of the Wild. It's like the upside is that the game world feels pretty natural and pretty organic. Like, particularly the fire mechanics I've thought to be pretty inviting. Like, that you can take, if you draw your arrow and you dip your arrow in a flame, it'll catch your arrow on fire. That's like very intuitive and very cool and interesting in a way that I think is unexpected of most RPGs. But then there are some game mechanics where, like, I think there's an attempt to be organic that ends up just being too confusing, and none of it. There's very, very, very little hand-holding in the game, which is good, except you could go a really long time without figuring out basic things. Like, I had to have cooking explained to me, because you would think in a normal game, like, you go up to a fire, and you maybe push A or something, and it gives you the option to cook. Well, that doesn't do anything. You can just sit by the fire. So then maybe you think, you have to, like, take out a food item and, like, put it on the fire. That doesn't really do it either. You have to, like, be holding an item, which is an option that I also didn't really know you could just do at all, because I wasn't looking for it, because why the fuck would I be? And then you have to, like, walk over to a dish and then light the thing underneath the dish on fire first, and then you drop some shit in the dish, and then they play a cooking song, and then you get some food, which now that I've figured it out is fine. It's just, like, not intuitive.
It's tedious.
And, like, it's fine. It's just not intuitive. Like, the shield's, like, jumping. Like, you would think maybe, like, oh, it's an organic world, man. If you dip your arrow in the fire, it catches fire. If you dip you get anything that's wooden, you can dip in the fire, and it becomes, like, the flame club. And you would think maybe that the same thing would apply with, like, the shield. Like, oh, you put the shield in the ground, and you, like, jump on the shield, and now you're fucking shield rider. Nope, you gotta, like, jump with the shield out, and then push A, and all of a sudden, your organic game is shield rider. Because in real life, when I push A, that's when my shield goes underneath me. Fuck that.
Dude, I picked up 5 eggs to, I don't know, make some scrambled eggs or something in Zelda, and I dropped them all on the ground because I didn't light the fire first. Yeah, you drop them and they all smash. I was like, fuck,
if
dude.
you drop them in hot spring, they'll boil the eggs, which is kind of
That's kind of cool.
So,
like, there's cool aspects to it. There's a few silly aspects to it, like the cooking, like the shield jumping.
How did you overcome the cold?
A torch initially. But then I got to a part where I had to climb, and that's when I was like, "Oh, I know I have to cook, but I literally can't figure out cooking." I just assumed that, like, I had to get a buff that would let me cook.
So you used the chili peppers when you did figure out cooking.
Yeah, I made some spicy food.
I did too, but it took me probably 10 minutes to figure out cooking.
You can get a parka.
There's 2,
but I couldn't figure out, like,
what
the ingredient was that he needed. It seemed like meat, but I couldn't find where some meat was.
2 on the plateau.
You have to shoot an animal.
Did you go to the old man's house?
That's right, he ran the fuck away.
You shoot him with a bow.
Dude, I did. He ran away.
Gotta hit him a few times. Did you go to the old man's house?
Yeah.
No. He has a house.
There's one
Yeah.
in there.
Why would I go to his house, dude? It's an old man.
Well, it said he would give it to me if I gave him his recipe.
There's-
You can just take it?
You
That's
can
cool.
talk to him
That's
afterwards?
cool.
Okay. Anyways, so
Steal his fucking parka. How is he going to stay warm?
a few things. First off, like personally, the thing, and I know you guys are kind of early on. You probably haven't gone to like a lot of the super high things. Like the first thing I did when I got off the plateau was climb the dueling peaks, and that was where like the big thing I got from the open world of Breath of the Wild is the verticality of it. I think that's really special. A lot of games don't offer that verticality, and like that tower that you climb in the plateau, that's nothing. Like you look at the dueling peaks and you're like, that's like 20 times the height of that tower. That was pretty tall when I climbed it the first time. So there's that was what impressed me. The combination of the verticality with the climbing and the paragliding was pretty cool.
So to me, so far, I obviously haven't climbed the 2 peaks, but just everything I have climbed,
Or
that
like Death
aspect,
Mountain. Like Death
I haven't climbed a mountain. I climbed the tower. I've been climbing just shit.
Yeah.
And like that aspect of the game I found to be either underwhelming or oversold, because like just mostly from you're like, oh, people are calling it an open air world game or an open air fucking game. Like, there was some tall shit in Skyrim. Like I knew, but it's like 3 times. It's tall. I get it. It's tall. I know. It's tall.
Yeah.
Like, and realistically, what's the difference between like, other than cool graphics, like, oh, he climbed the mountain versus in Skyrim, like he walked steeply up the mountain.
Well,
Not
no,
much.
the scale of verticality is a lot bigger than in Skyrim.
I guess, but
or
it
in
doesn't.
Fallout. Like Fallout has no verticality.
Fallout 4 is verticality.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. There's
Not Breath of the
Dude,
Wild.
you can like
not
fast
Breath of
travel to
Wild
the
level,
blimp.
but it's. I mean, as far as gameplay goes, I think it's just as significant. Maybe even more so. There's a section of the game when you're recruiting Strong as a companion where you're taking an elevator down the side of like a skyscraper and you have to fight enemies as you go down floors in this. That's like more of a gameplay change than anything I've had so far in Breath of the Wild, except maybe gliding. Gliding is cool as fuck.
Gliding is
Gliding is a huge
awesome.
plus. Gliding is awesome.
It's a ton of fun.
Every game that doesn't have gliding now, we'll see.
I have climbed a few things just to glide.
Yeah, me too.
Gotta admit.
Every time I
I've
see a
spent
tall
a
thing,
lot
I
of
climb.
time just walking around because honestly, like looking at the game world, it looks pretty empty, and I think that's due to the Switch doesn't have enough power to really render like a billion trees.
That's possible.
But I have found that there's pretty much always something interesting if you go looking for it, which is not something that happens in all games. So I've liked that. I feel like it's a huge world, but it's filled with enough stuff to keep you interested.
I like that they don't just throw like waypoints at you.
Right.
But so the other thing that we touched on a little, but I think that the plateau is a really strong tutorial. So the plateau is in response to Zelda fans over the past 20 years being like, Zelda games have really long starts that are stupid, and we know how to press L to Z target. We don't need to do this anymore. These are like Twilight Princess is an example where it takes like 3 hours to get a sword. So Breath of the Wild was kind of like it was more something that Zelda fans would appreciate, I feel like. But I think it's a really strong tutorial in
I
that
agree.
it essentially lets you experience Zelda Breath of the Wild on a micro level, like the whole game. Like it gives you a taste of everything you would theoretically need to know to complete the game, because that's the whole point. After you get off the plateau, you can go straight to Ganon. You can go to any of the Divine Beasts in any order. You can ignore Kakariko Village. You can do whatever. At that point, the whole rest of the world's open to you. And I think that they did a really good job at making like kind of a microcosm that's relatively safe and has enough stuff to keep you interested, and it tries to teach you subtly.
No, I totally agree. Very, very strong tutorial section, opening section to a game.
It was good. I mean, I definitely felt like there was a lot of things I didn't know, like cooking, or like.
But that's the thing. You don't need cooking to.
You needed cooking to get through the tutorial.
You don't.
I mean, unless you found the parka.
Makes it a lot.
Yeah, so you could get the warm doublet. You could do the torch thing. You could. There's
torch only
others
sort of
that
works.
I'm not gonna
Right.
talk about. You could make fires. You could bring flint and wood and make a fire after you climb and relight your torch.
Right, but how do you make a fire?
Yeah, do you have to
I don't know
push-
how to do that.
Do you take out the flint, throw it in the river, and push B?
So I thought it was a good tutorial, and I got through it in maybe 30 minutes, which I appreciate. But
You
at the
got
same
through the
time,
Great
That's really
Plateau in
fast.
30 minutes.
yeah, I mean, it was
It took
like
me literally 3 hours.
it took me
That's the other thing I
no
like about
time at all. And then I don't know. I feel like there was a little. I wish there was more hand holding, honestly.
All right.
Which I feel I didn't think.
I think if you hung around for more than 30 minutes, you might have gotten more.
I don't think you needed
go
more
to the three. Go to
hand-holding.
the. You have 4 shrines. They're not far. All you have to do is run to each one.
Damn.
It took me 10 minutes
This
to
guy
figure
over
out
here,
how to.
Jake fucked this shit up. He's
Dude.
fucking video game king over here. Jake's the new head of the
Watch
podcast.
me on the big stage playing Zelda.
All right.
Esports legend.
Just wrap up impression so far. I know you're fairly early on, but this is largely regarded to be at least a game of the year candidate. Like, are you enjoying it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, despite all the kind of criticism I've been giving, I really enjoy it so far,
Good.
and I think it's deserving of game of the year as a candidate.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
It does a lot of interesting things that haven't been done before.
And this is both of your first Zelda games.
No, Jake has
Sort of. I
You
played
have
a
Twilight
little
Princess.
bit of Ocarina of Time. I played a little bit of Majora's Mask.
Don't you have Twilight Princess?
No.
Am I making that up?
I'm
Oh,
a Twilight
shit.
Princess guy. All right. Cool. So that was fun. I've been dying for you guys to talk about Breath of the Wild. Are we ready to move on to news?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Okay. There's a lot of good stuff. I think we should just go head on talk about Amiibo cereal
The big news.
because we're already on Switch. We might
The
as well
people
talk
want
about
to know.
The people want to know.
I'm very excited.
Is there Amiibo cereal coming out? Will it taste good? And what is the Amiibo functionality?
What games does it support?
Mario Odyssey.
Will it be Tasty
Really?
Cheerios?
Only Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
What does it give you in game?
well, this is already
Coins and
underwhelming.
hearts.
What
Are you
the
joking or are you
fuck, dude?
serious?
Just coins and hearts? You can get those from walking around in game.
Yeah, those aren't really in short supply.
Coins and hearts. Coins and hearts. Okay, so this cereal's coming out in December. You can buy it at a grocery
What
store.
kind of cereal is this?
I told Jeremy I assume it's going to be Captain Crunch. Yeah, what do you think the flavor is going to be, Jake?
I don't know, dude. I kind of hope that
Like,
it's
like
like
associated to a cereal
I
brand.
think it's gonna be little fruity pebbles.
Fruity. Okay, fruity. I got Captain Crunch. Jake's got Fruity Pebbles. Jeremy.
I'm going marshmallow shapes. It's gonna have something
Just
pl-
marshmallows.
Oh, like
No,
Lucky,
it's gonna be like Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
Or
I
hold
can
on,
see
hold
Lucky
actually hold on.
Charms.
Let me just think about this for a second. Let me just think about fucking get off my ass. Let me think about this for 1 second.
special case.
I'm just trying.
I'm
trying to
sitting
think
like
of,
2 feet away from him right now. It's...
Yeah, I'm going Lucky Charms.
Lucky
Lucky
Charms?
Charms style.
Okay, cool. So cereal's coming out. If you buy this box of cereal, you get cereal.
Guys, it's Lucky Charms.
Oh shit! Nice,
you look it
dude.
up?
I didn't look it up before that.
Nice, dude. That makes sense though, because you can have cool
That's
little
cool.
marshmallow shapes
Yeah.
and stuff. So you get the box with the Mario
Dude,
art.
bitch, it's not Amiibo cereal. It's fucking Super Mario cereal, okay? It does
Yeah.
come with an Amiibo, though.
That-
Man, we've
dude,
been
what are you gonna
misled.
call it? Mario cereal or
That's what it's called.
Dude, but
It's
who the
called
fuck
Super
cares?
Mario
No,
cereal.
If they came out with a Mario cereal, it wouldn't make our super fucking awesome popular podcast. That shit's like
But that's what it's
we
called.
reserve
Now
real
I was
estate
gonna
space.
be smashing cereal boxes on my Switch while I'm playing Zelda, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?
Alright,
I
alright.
can't get any rupees."
Yeah, no.
Alright.
If it was just Mario cereal, that'd be
Which
lame.
is what it is.
No, but the
So
it
it's-
comes with an Amiibo.
So you think it's lame?
doesn't
man.
come with an amiibo. The
It does.
cardboard box has
Is an
amiibo
amiibo.
functionality.
That's fucking stupid.
Okay,
But I
dude.
want. But if I had to switch, I
oh,
would.
he said he wants. He said he wants, dude. He said he wants.
I
Jake,
have
what-
no desire to get this
Okay,
cereal.
but no, let's pretend
If
that we were
it's
kids.
just-
Let's pretend that we were kids. So remember when you used to get the box of cereal and it would like occasionally come with some shit, or you'd have to like mail something in. Is this like? Do you think? Do you see kids being excited about
Yeah,
this?
no,
probably.
not
If
at
the-
all.
Well, actually, no.
Okay, what?
No, I don't see kids being excited by it because I don't think kids own Switches. I think it's mostly like 20-year-olds. But I see 20-year-olds being excited about this because A, you get coins and hearts, and B, it's a good excuse to eat sugar cereal.
So
Jeremy,
I own
if you-
several amiibo, and I have never scanned an amiibo ever. Like I don't even know
You're gonna
what
start with the
Joy-Con
cereal?
does it.
So,
no,
I
I'm
mean-
not. Like I just personally like I like amiibo kinda. I don't like scanning them.
So you've played Mario. I mean, coins are almost useless. You can pretty much walk straight and get enough coins to do whatever you need. I don't know, Jeremy, have you played Mario yet?
Yeah.
Because coins are, like,
They're
easier
useless.
to get
You
than
don't
dirt.
need them.
If it was, like, a useless plastic toy, not even, like, a real amiibo, I would be more excited.
Yeah.
If it was, like, a real amiibo, I would be
It's
pumped, dude.
it is for as a concept. It's kind of fun. Though.
I don't
It's kind
want
of fun
coins,
that, like,
and I
you
don't want
take
hearts.
boxes of cereal and you touch it on your Switch, and
I think it's
some
fun.
stupid shit happens. Like,
I think it's fun.
Why not?
Can you just
And I like
imagine
Lucky
though
Charms.
carrying? You have your cereal box in both hands. You're just like coins.
My assumption
Smash
is
it on
that
the
it won't.
Switch.
My assumption is that it won't cost more than like a regular cereal.
I think
so
it's
if you're
like the MSRP is like MSRP for fucking cereal. I think it's like under $4. It's like
so if you're like, oh, am I gonna buy Lucky Charms or Amiibo cereal? I'm buying the Amiibo cereal.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
yeah. Well, I will personally make an effort to acquire it. We'll probably have a box. We'll probably report back on.
I would enjoy a box of Amiibo cereal for our
Yeah.
loyal listeners.
Check out the Patreon.
Maybe we
podcast
could do a
to see
giveaway.
the,
We could do a giveaway.
Oh, fuck.
dude!
The first early
ever.
access giveaway.
I'll try to get a few boxes of this, and we'll do a giveaway if I can.
If you'd like to see us eat Amiibo cereal live, please donate at patreon.com/cohesive
Jesus Christ. Okay,
friendship
stop.
unit.
We're moving on. Do we want to stay on the Switch train, or do we want
Sure.
to Switch train it in?
This is just the fucking Nintendo
Switch
podcast
my
now.
boy.
That's
yeah,
fine.
Brian's not here. so
Brian
we're
leaves for
going-
one fucking day, and you
It's
dicks.
just Switch.
We're doing all
all
Switch.
the
No,
time.
so Jeremy's gonna probably hop in at one point, but Black Friday came, Black Friday went, Cyber Monday
Nice.
came, Cyber Monday went. Both kind of sucked
Black Friday was pretty good, I think. Cyber Monday was
Disagree.
a huge
because you
letdown.
bought a TV.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I guess the things I wanted was a TV, a sound bar, and like a hard drive, that kind of stuff, and those were all on Black Friday sales.
Did you buy a hard drive?
I did.
What'd you buy?
8 terabyte
Jesus.
external. Yeah, dude.
What are you gonna fill?
Oh, is it the one that? Okay, I know.
What
I know
brand?
which one. I
Yeah.
know which one. Okay.
Is it a secret?
Oh god.
Anyways.
I don't remember.
Well, we'll talk off the air. The Switch was actually apparently based on not solid statistics, but
No, solid statistics, just not sales numbers.
not sales numbers. Not only the best selling video game related item for both Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but the best selling product for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
No, this is
That
per
is
Adobe
impressive.
Analytics. They don't have, or exact sales numbers haven't been released publicly yet for any of these items for the Xbox, for the PlayStation, or for the Switch. But based on, as I understand it, based on analysis they've done, based on predictive models they've done, that's mostly what they do is predictive modeling. They believe that the Switch was the top selling product for both Cyber Monday and Black Friday.
That's nuts. Because real quick, the Switch was not on sale at all
was not.
anywhere.
It was not. And neither was Zelda. And neither was Mario.
Zelda debatably got a $10 discount occasionally. But,
Occasionally.
difference between 50 and 60 is not great. That's pretty cool, though. That's something.
I mean, you could have picked up a Xbox One for $190, a PS4 for $199,
Or a Switch for
or a
$300.
Switch for, is it $300 or $350?
$300. But,
$300.
you'd presumably get a game. So that would push you.
For an extra $60.
Yeah, so that would put $350.
So at least $350.
That's nuts.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
Chris was right. I don't think this is that big of a deal.
What do you mean?
Like Xbox and PlayStation. Xbox One came out in 2013, yeah.
They both
Xbox
came out in
One?
2013.
So they've both been out for almost 5 years.
Yeah, but they're way cheaper.
Yeah, but
and
they've been out for almost 5 years.
Yeah, but an Xbox One X is
That's true.
400, 500.
PS4 Pro is 400.
So in between,
Yeah, but
I guess-
everyone who wants these consoles mostly has them. Is my general I think the number of people who were like, "Oh, I need to get the PS4 Pro,"
Well,
is
I think-
fairly small. It's like people who probably already have PlayStation 4s
Yeah, that's a good point.
who are like, "Yeah, but I want to play it in upscaled 4K." Okay, I'll grab a $200 one on Black Friday. Like, I don't think it's a huge number of people. I think the people who wanted those consoles have them for the most part. I think people who are buying them, and I should note, although neither of those consoles topped the top 5 or cracked the top 5 for products on either Black Friday or Cyber Monday, apparently Xbox One in particular did pretty well. And PlayStation, or Sony, I should say, is also reporting that their sales were the strongest they've ever had for Black Friday. So it's not like they
Yeah.
did poor numbers either.
Well, see, that's what's cool, though. It kind of
The Switch is a brand new console.
kinda
This is their
transcended
first
video
Black
games,
Friday ever.
Yeah, but
So yeah, and they've been nigh on impossible to get. Supply's been really low, and from what I understand, that was part of what boosted the sales numbers. Is that they just had more of a steady supply at most retailers. they had more stock, and so people who wanted them, who maybe have wanted them for a while, were able to get them when they were in store at like Target or whatever.
That's true. When I went to go get my Switch, it was like the Mario Special Edition or the neon blue and orange one. Those were the only two they had.
Yeah. So, as I said, I think what it says is what we knew, which is that Switch is having a pretty I would say a pretty to very strong launch year. They've definitely recovered from the catastrophe of the Wii U, but I don't know. I don't think this is like bananas.
And I think dropping Mario Odyssey a month ago probably helped quite a bit. People buy Mario. Mario is, whether or not hardcore quote unquote think it is a system seller. It is
absolutely
buying the sales numbers Mario games turn up put Zelda to shame.
Yeah, that's true.
And Zelda is their second. I mean, they don't own Pokemon, so Zelda is their second biggest franchise.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
I don't really think that's why people are buying Switches per se.
No, I think that the
Super
Christmas
Mario...
combo of Mario Switch, like now that Mario's out on the Switch, and now that the Switch it hasn't attained like a pop culture kind of thing, but it's people are aware of it. People are aware of the Switch.
Let's put it this way: I don't think that Super Mario Odyssey is moving Switch units the way that like Halo moved Xboxes.
Ooh,
That's
true. I would disagree.
I don't think anyone is like, "Oh, that Mario game looks sick. I need to get that Mario game."
No,
like,
I think
it's more just
like casual people see the Mario.
Yep.
No, I agree.
Yep,
I
yep,
think
yep,
that
yep.
the most it did was bump people up from just like the regular old Switch to like get the Mario Special Edition.
Or I think it
instead.
factors in, like people are like, I think the Switch is cool, and that Mario game looks pretty good. It's got some decent games on it.
Well,
but I don't think anyone was like, this is the reason. Mario.
A lot.
I think it's marketing campaign and hype.
I mean, Mario and Zelda are some of the strongest launch titles I've seen.
I agree.
They're really good.
They're strong launch titles, and they're both getting excellent reviews, and I've played them both now. They're both good games, but I don't think they have that level of pop culture infiltration that those are the things that are selling the consoles per se. I think it's just, like, I don't think there's a game that sells a PlayStation 4. You buy a PlayStation 4 for reasons other than a game. You buy it. Definitely. Well, not just for the whole library, but that's part of the decision-making, and I think the decision-making for the Switch is, like, it's portable, it's cool, it gets good reviews.
It works for my
Nintendo's back. We got to get the Nintendo Wasita, like that sort of.
I mean, anecdotally, it worked for my 12-year-old niece wants a Switch for Christmas
because she really wants the Mario game.
She does, yeah.
Just that reason?
That's the reason that I got when I asked.
She didn't want to Switch until she saw this Mario game.
I mean, it's tough to say because you don't want a console without wanting a game, right?
That's true. There's something that pushes you.
You don't get a console and don't buy any games.
Yeah. You don't
no. You obviously there have to be games that, but I think it has to be.
I think the library,
games.
the exclusive library, is more important. But like for me, and
I think
Zelda,
for kids,
Zelda did it for me. And
you love Zelda.
Zelda double did it for me.
You have a Wii U.
I had a Wii U and I could have bought Zelda on the Wii U, but I was like,
you were gonna get the Switch no matter what.
I want the most. I was telling my girlfriend this. The Switch is the first Nintendo console I bought on launch. Most of them you
were a child for.
Well, okay. So real quick. Yeah. Wii U. I was in college. I waited 2 years.
Yeah, because the Wii U was terrible.
The Wii U, man.
And you still bought it. You sucker.
The Wii, I was a child.
Yeah. So your first opportunity was like the worst selling Nintendo console ever. That's probably not true, but a pretty terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, 3DS bought late.
Yeah, because you had another previous Nintendo handheld, and they weren't meaningfully that different.
I hated the DS.
Yeah, because it was just okay.
All right. Anyways, moving on. We've covered this. It's covered.
We have to disagree. It's in the contract.
All right, the Switch is covered.
We'll be here all
Folks,
night.
He pays me to disagree. Don't hate me.
We'll be here all night. All right. Destiny or EA?
Destiny.
Activision or EA?
Destiny.
I'm going to need more context.
I think start with Destiny.
What news
it's nice and easy.
Oh, what should we go to next?
Yeah.
Let's do Activision.
Yeah, okay. So we got 2 for Activision.
You got me hooked.
This is fun because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think we would like to agree that EA and Activision are kind of not rivals, but they're the 2 big AAA publishers. Like EA has
EA, Activision, Blizzard. So if you were going to say
Well,
Blizzard's the
Activision owns
third,
Blizzard.
I know. I was going to say if you think Blizzard's the third, they're the same company now.
Maybe
so.
Ubisoft. But yeah, they're certainly big.
Like Activision has Call of Duty, EA has Battlefield. They trade back and forth on these
Right.
AAA
They're
franchises.
huge companies.
They're huge. They're huge companies. I guess Ubisoft would probably be.
That's what I said. Yeah.
My next biggest one. Yeah.
Maybe. Just because there's no one else.
Assassin's Creed.
Regardless, grass isn't always greener. We've been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks, and everyone has been talking about EA and Battlefront and what's been going down with the microtransaction business. So, Destiny 2 game has had decent success. Player base is falling off a lot recently. Here's kind of what has happened over the past week. So, players started... First off, you can buy microtransactions in this game that loosely give you in-game advantages, at least in the early game, and they give you items that are desired regardless. So Destiny 2, a lot of players were noticing that they weren't leveling up at an appropriate rate. Like, numbers weren't correlating. You weren't getting the experience that you deserved. And what people actually found out, people did the math. They started doing missions. They kept track of the enemies they killed. They kept track of the missions they were doing. They said, I should have this much experience at the end. I should be leveled up. And leveling up, obviously, to some extent replaces these microtransactions. They found that they weren't getting enough experience. Not only were they not getting enough experience, but players who were playing more frequently were getting less experience. So they were throttling the experience you were getting. And they, proved it. Pretty mathematically. And they sent it out to Bungie, who historically does not respond. So, two things. One, I'm not a game developer, but I am a software developer. Experience isn't fucking magic. It's summation of numbers. This is going to be hard to accuse as a bug. Let me just put it that way.
There's no
There's
chance.
no
Like,
fucking way.
You're
It's not a bug.
adding numbers and people who play more get less. No, that doesn't work. Okay, anyways, so...
It used to be different, but then a weird
no, so-
bug happened.
so
Well,
Bungie-
if you
so-
remember a couple podcasts ago, we just talked about the patent that Activision put out. I know this is not necessarily the same thing, but it is essentially the same thing. Throttle a person's experience so they buy more loot boxes.
Bungie responded and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna work on that. Sorry guys." So what they did, they worked on it. Apparently there's no trace of this system currently being in place, which is good. The bad thing is, it takes twice as much experience to level up in general now for everything.
Fixed it.
So yeah, that's
Wonderful.
one way to fix it. And they have refused to comment since they made that, update. So that's kind of where we're at with Activision right now. It's interesting because you can, in theory, the items that you would get from leveling up benefit you in the same indirect way that buying microtransactions, buying loot boxes could ultimately benefit you.
Which is to say that buying loot boxes, if for instance, so imagine a world where you're playing Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And you were having a great time. And all of a sudden, it takes twice as long to level up. And now, for some reason, you're frustrated by this experience. Hypothetically, now Chris, just clear this up for me. Hypothetically, you could purchase loot boxes, and that coincidentally would replace the amount of time that it actually added.
Yeah.
So you could use this to substitute.
Well, not to mention,
incredible.
So in a perverse way, this almost incentivizes buying loot boxes.
in a subconscious way. This is not advertised.
Really shocking. That's a
On
weird
top of
coincidence.
that, the
That's
throttling of all this is you're targeting the people who play more often, the people who like your game more, the people who are perhaps more willing
Right.
to slip out $5.
That is a really unfortunate coincidence.
$5 or $50.
Bungie is going to be furious. They're going to feel really poorly.
This bug is gonna
Dude, they must be so embarrassed that they did that.
really
I'm sure they'll get this straightened out right away.
bug.
I mean, there's always like the other situation where you could just go play Warframe for free and not have to pay anything.
Dude, Jake cucks for Warframe. Jake, are you paid by Warframe?
Get wrecked. Yes, please, DE, please pay me. Please.
This is kind of what I was saying the other day, though. Like, I think as gamers, we can't rest on our laurels, and I know we're going to talk about EA in a little bit, but we can't rest on our laurels in the case of EA and any perceived success there, because just because we, might have done a little damage to EA. That I think that the real issue here is the fundamental kind of game industry, and we have to somehow approach this problem because this is just going to continue happening. And sometimes it'll be done in a way that's tasteful enough or not so overt or money grubbing enough that we'll be like, yeah, but this game's good, so we'll just play it. And then this will continue to happen in the future, and we'll all be frustrated, and games will be worse. And I don't think that's what any of us want.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts that this is almost to me worse than what EA was doing, because at least EA was like,
I think
I mean,
it's still
you
worse.
knew what you were buying with
yeah,
EA.
like, you weren't
But that's
being.
true.
You bought
This
Destiny.
wasn't some under the hood thing that was going on. Like they said, this is what it's going to require for you to.
Although, let's be fair, EA did change the experience for reviewers
They did.
before
So
they
they did.
launched the game. So I
And-
guess it's pretty similar.
It seems decently more game breaking in EA 2. Like, it seems hard to imagine how you even play Battlefront 2 without loot boxes. Conceivably, you could just play a lot of Destiny.
Yeah.
Because it's not a randomized progression.
I mean, the whole point of Destiny 2 is to level up and grind, so that's the other thing.
And it's you said now that the ultimate solution is that they've just doubled the amount of experience you need, so that is at least also even across the playing field. It's initially they were targeting the more dedicated gamers,
Yeah.
but at least now it seems like they're just at least being equitable about it. So like you could just approach it as like, now it's a really hard game, really grindy game. It's still shit. Like, this is still
Yeah.
cool.
Don't be mistaken. Fuck Bungie, guys.
No. Fuck Bungie. And also, like, it is transparent in the sense that Activision, like last month or whatever, a month and a half ago, they were like, oh no, yeah, we're taking out the pad. Here it is. It's public, and we're gonna fuck you guys in like a year. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. When it comes, it'll come.
Yeah, I believe the official press release is this is not currently in any Activision or Blizzard
it isn't.
games.
But like, they were pretty transparent about like, no, we're coming for your wallets. We're coming. We're coming. Don't worry about it, guys.
There's no safety anywhere. Also, I mean, Call of Duty loot boxes have historically kind of been problematic. And Activision owns Call of Duty, so,
Yeah.
that is what it is. All right, moving on to EA.
There we go.
So, do you want to do EA?
No, dude.
You had the research on it.
Yeah, you get the info.
You got the-
Introduce it
the
for us,
dank
Chris.
links.
And
No,
then,
you have to introduce it.
all
I'll
right.
just jump in with any
So-
figures I can add.
So it looks like, to an extent, we've made a dent. Looks like we've made a dent. Looks like, as of late, EA has actually lost up to $3 billion in stock, which isn't. It sounds good, but in reality, it's about where it was in 2017, or July of 2017.
Yeah, that's on the
But
order
they've
of
lost-
a couple percent.
They've lost $3 billion in stock, largely because of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Do you want to...
No, I think that's pretty accurate. I think it was 3.8 billion in stock, so closer to 4 billion. But as you said, it's a low since about June, July. Actually July about. So it's not really that far below what we've already seen in the recent past for EA. So I think the takeaway is that gamer outrage has had an appreciable effect on this, which is good, but that it hasn't seriously impacted the company, I would go so far to say. And if you take a slightly broader view and look at more like, a 5-year trend, EA stock is still extremely, it's been growing at a huge rate, and they're still a massive company. So as far as, is this going to change their future business practices? I'm inclined to probably still say no. I don't really think there's any evidence of that yet. They haven't really made significant changes yet, so there's no evidence on that front either.
Right, all they did was say, yeah, you can't purchase loot boxes for now, but we'll bring them back later.
Yeah, we'll bring
Please
them back
buy our
later.
game, guys.
And actually, that also caused a negative reaction from Wall Street. They were upset that EA walked away from loot boxes. Loot boxes are very profitable for them. I think, to the extent that people are still... I think they must have done the math on this. This is what, companies do. They've probably done the math on the number of people that they'll lose because of these more aggressive monetization strategies. And the amount of money that they'll bring in. And they probably decided, at least for the time being, based on our projections, it's worth it. That even if we lose so many customers, we're still going to be making, X, number of dollars more in loot box revenue. So fuck them. Who cares? And that'll probably be what goes on. And actually, just today, their stock is up almost a percentage, which isn't, it's not everything, but they're back slightly in an upward direction. So
Right, but the cool story is that all that outrage did make an impact.
it made a difference. So obviously,
And they got the bad
albeit
press.
slight.
I think, so in my opinion, I think the bad press is much more important because I think you had slightly brought this up last time, that right now, I would say Star Wars is probably the marquee franchise for Disney. And they are about to drop a huge main entry installment in the series.
Probably going to be the most money they make in the year.
Yeah, it's probably going to be their biggest film of the year. It's probably going to be the biggest earning film of the year. And I don't think if you're Disney, it's Star Wars. It's to a certain extent, it's bulletproof. Even when the prequels were coming out and they were getting poor reviews and just being mocked in pop culture, they still made gobs of money. But if you're Disney, like the other day, I think a state senator in Hawaii or a state representative compared the child gambling issue, so-called, in Star Wars Battlefront 2 to Joe Camel and marketing cigarettes to children. Like, that's not a comparison you want with regard to your number one IP.
When someone Googles Star Wars, Disney does not want to see child gambling to be some
That's
of the
not an
first
association
results.
they want. So I honestly think our best hope here would be that Disney, for purposes of brand preservation and for maintaining their very, family-friendly, squeaky clean image that they have worked really hard to cultivate and maintain as a company, which I think is pretty strong. I think that the best hope would be that Disney hands the IP onto a different company. And I know there is a petition for that.
There is, yeah.
I don't think that petition is going to be what does it. But I think if Disney came to that decision, it would be because of the press and not because of the loss of money on EA's side. And also, I heard it brought up that apparently contractually EA doesn't get as much from the sales in terms of revenue from Star Wars. Disney actually takes the lion's share of it. So it may also, on EA's end, be not worth the trouble after a certain point.
Yeah.
That it may not be worth the amount of money it's bringing in. So they're also worth to consider.
Yeah. I think also, obviously the stock's going to rebound. Everything will be fine for EA. There's no way that you can make the fact that we made an appreciable dent is significant.
We also don't know how badly it fucked up the sales. We have a sense of it.
Yeah, we have a sense.
And only from the UK side and only for those first week sales. And that was also only physical copies. So sales could be better than we think. They could be worse than we think.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
But regardless, I think EA definitely, I think they got a message. They got bad press. They got calls from Disney execs. They got the most downvoted comment in Reddit, which, that doesn't necessarily mean anything to them, but it led to where we are now. Indirectly.
So, Chris, I'm not going to pretend like you just missed my little rant. Chris was using the restroom. Maya just gave like a whole soliloquy about how I don't think it really matters. That I don't think EA really fucking cares. I don't think they did get a message.
Not EA, but the industry. I
don't think they did get a message. I don't think they fucking care.
I think it'll take a couple of these for it to make a difference.
It will take many of these.
I think Anthem, which I believe is their next big game coming out, needs to tank as well.
We would have to.
They'll start to get it.
It would have to we would have to tank, like seriously tank, like Star Wars Battlefront 2, Anthem, like all of the new big titles coming out. I'm pretty sure
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is tanking right now. We don't have the official numbers, but
I agree, it's in bad shape.
I would say it's tanking.
But we would have to do like at least this to the next considerable number of titles for the industry to make a change.
Right.
They've probably already, this is what I mentioned, they've probably already calculated the loss of players in sales vis-a-vis the increased revenue from microtransactions.
From the whales, yeah.
And they've probably decided, we'll ride it out. Because they haven't changed anything so far. And they're in the heat of it right now. So why would any other company who hasn't been directly impacted by this? I've seen other companies pretending, like, taking shots at EA. Like, we don't do it too. Ha, fuck you, EA. We're cool with the kids.
Blizzard had a fun ad.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
It was a StarCraft 2 ad.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The other tough part
about Overwatch doesn't have loot boxes.
It does.
Oh, does it?
It does, yeah.
But they're see that they walked the line that was arguably fine, where the loot boxes, A, you can earn them at a reasonable rate, and B, they're all cosmetic, does not change your in-game performance, and additionally, it helps feel like that is when they laid out the Overwatch roadmap, that was, and they wanted it to be like not a games as a service, but an ongoing game. I guess games as a service. They said, we're gonna have these loot boxes out there. Again, they're only cosmetic, and you can earn them at a reasonable clip. This is going to allow us to make every single hero and every single map free for the entirety of Overwatch, so that our player base doesn't fragment. And I from that perspective, I think there are worse things in the world.
No, there's an argument for it, but like, it is still loot boxes, and as long as some games still have loot boxes, other games are going to attempt to do what EA has done. They're going to push the envelope on how much they can monetize them.
Yeah.
Which inherently is going to involve, it's like the airlines with calculated misery. They figure out exactly how much bullshit you'll take. Sometimes they go a little over. This time EA went a little over.
Yeah.
So the tough part about this, I recently read that a big mobile game developer was writing that for a game to be considered successful, you only need 1% of your player base to purchase.
And 5% is static.
Yeah. And 5% is like, you crushed it. So, I mean, even if Battlefront is tanking right now, they still need 1% to buy in and drop those thousands of dollars.
A little different for a mobile game.
That's the thing. I think
that's free to play.
They need the 1%.
Yeah.
I think whales aren't necessarily whales, as in like people who are gonna spend the thousands or hundreds of dollars on Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't think whales are necessarily Star Wars fans. I think whales are people who are addicted to gambling. And,
I mean, there's Star Wars whales out there.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is like increasing your sales numbers increases the odds of you catching these whales,
right?
Which are relatively rare, in that it only takes about 1%. So I mean, there is still like an incentive to push this.
And as Jeremy was saying, it's definitely above 1% for a big launch title like a Star Wars Battlefront, which is $60. But
I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. My feeling is that just based on this one event, no, there will be no change in the industry whatsoever. I think that some video games in the coming months will pay some lip service to it, and that will be it.
All right. Hopefully.
And if I'm wrong, I will eat a whole jar of horse semen.
Oh, not mayonnaise?
Yeah, we'll have to collect it first. I was trying to think of something that looks like
that picture.
mayonnaise.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like the picture.
All right. We're gonna wrap up the news and shift over to just like one little question, something that a few people have kind of been talking about on the internet as of late, as the Switch rounds off its holiday season. As in, all the games are out that are going to be out. Mario's out. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 launches tomorrow as of recording, and Zelda's out, Doom's out. All the big games are going to be out. We have a picture of the Switch's first calendar year and the Switch's first 365 days on the market. Like, we can see where it's going in the next few months. I mean, we're probably gonna have a big direct in January, but we're Switch has been out for a while. It's not brand new. That being said, a lot of people have been kind of looking at the Wii U as retrospectively and kind of wondering what and where and why that went wrong. A little bit of this is going to be me speaking anecdotally from what I've seen on YouTube, what I've read on Reddit. I'll try to pull facts where I can, but currently the situation of the Wii or of the Switch is, wow, oh my God, we're getting third-party support for like the first time ever. We have Skyrim, which is a 6-year-old game. Wow, and we have.
Hey, you're starting to sound like me.
Well, no, I mean, I'm calling them like it is, and we have Doom. I mean, it's a newer version of Skyrim, but whatever. We have Doom, which is it's a game that came out last year before the Switch came out, but still, it's an older game. LA Noire, which that also like we're getting third-party ports, but they're not like the high-effort, super, day like Wolfenstein 2. It's coming out in 2018. That came out in October for everyone else. We're not the only real day-and-date third-party exclusive I can think of is Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania, which Sonic Mania is debatably an indie game.
Yeah, Sonic Mania's been out.
No, but it came out day and date.
Oh, did it?
It came out with the Xbox, PS4, and the Switch. They all came out the same day.
It's also not really
and Sonic Forces.
It's not really a challenging game from a hardware perspective.
Well, also Sonic Forces it wasn't
shite.
Well, it wasn't. It's not like a game that it's not a huge third-party game. Let me put it that way. So a lot of people are saying, oh, we're finally getting third-party support. This is good news. And yeah, it is good news. And people are also saying, I really wish we had the virtual console because that would be awesome. And like we're used to the virtual console. So I just want to kind of do like a weird compare and contrast on the Wii U's first year versus the Switch's first year, and why the Wii U kind of like flopped as abysmally as it did, and why the Switch is going to surpass the Wii U in its first year in lifetime sales. So the Wii U launched with a huge number of games. It was around 30 games, whereas the Switch launched with a handful, under 10, and that includes downloadable games. This was a huge criticism when the Switch was coming out. Everyone said, the Switch, it has 1-2 Switch, it has Zelda Breath of the Wild, it has Bomberman.
Such classics as 1-2 Switch and ARMS.
And it has Just Dance 2017 and Skylanders.
Didn't even have ARMS?
No, it didn't have ARMS.
Christ.
It had 5 games, in the US, it had 5 games and a few decent downloadable titles, Snipper Clips and Fast RMX. But you look at that lineup, and yeah, admittedly, I was also kind of like, this is not looking good. This is looking kind of Wii U-ish, where...
Chris did not say that at the time.
Well, no, Zelda, I knew personally Zelda was, like, I got my Zelda game, so I was happy.
He was trying to convince me that it was a great lineup.
But from a longevity standpoint, well, we got Binding of Isaac shortly after. And
wow.
Anyways, that's kind of the Switch lineup. The Wii U lineup had about 30 games, and the games that it had... If you just think about like what people are generally complaining about now, it had Mass Effect 3, it had it had a Batman Arkham game, it had Call of Duty Black Ops 2, it had Assassin's Creed 3, it had like not just like third-party low effort games or it had the mainstay games. It would have if it was the Switch, it would have Assassin's Creed Origins, it would have Call of Duty World War II. It would have Mass Effect Andromeda. All these games would be out on the Switch, and I bet if all those games were out, people would be losing their goddamn minds. Like, Nintendo fans would be really fucking happy right now. That's interesting to me. That the Wii U had the third-party support early on. It had the virtual console early on. It had the game library early on. And a lot of people say, well, Nintendo didn't bring the first-party support. Nintendo had 4 days after the Wii U was a year old, Mario 3D Land came out. No, that's not the strongest Mario game. Yeah. It had Pikmin 3. It had Zelda Wind Waker HD. Again, these are not Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, but, like, you can't give them no credit,
So, I mean, the Wii U had good games, but I think the difficulty for the Wii U is it was going after the console market. Because let's be real, it wasn't very portable. It wasn't
portable at all.
It was a terrible, controller to use.
You could play it on the toilet and no further.
It was really going after the console market. So it was competing with Xbox and PlayStation, where Switch is entirely portable and is very usable and is very easy to bring around.
So you think the portability is what's solving
I think the
this?
Switch is not competing with the Xbox and the PlayStation, whereas the Wii U was.
So you think it's a hardware issue?
No, I think it's the way it's being used. Because I think people with Xboxes and with PlayStations are also going to buy a Switch because your Xbox is for in front of the TV, your Switch is for going anywhere else. You couldn't do that with the Wii U. Your Wii U was in front of the TV.
I think that's a good point. That, the Wii was really successful partially because it had an argument for its own existence. Because if you're just lining them up, so take away motion support from the Wii U, take away portability from the Switch, there's no reason to buy these consoles. They're terrible without them. Take away, the portability from the Switch, it's just a home console as it is with that fucking lineup of launch title games. That wouldn't have sold a unit. That would have been abysmal.
It would have done
okay.
It would have done okay, but it would not be.
Launching a game at those specs that can't play full HD with one Zelda game. Are you serious? So at least the Wii had an argument for its own existence. You could play motion-based sort of games, which was always overhyped, but at least it was kind of fun. It had a party, element to it. There was a reason to buy one, even if you already had a PlayStation or an Xbox 360. Chris, for instance, had both an Xbox 360 and a Wii.
Well, he
bought the Xbox 360 later, but there was an argument to have it and to have both. There is an argument now, like Jake was saying, to have a Switch and to have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox or a PC. Chris and Jake both have gaming PCs and they both have Switches. They do something different. What did the Wii U offer? A tablet?
Yeah, really
to look at?
Crap, resistive
a useless
touch, standard
tablet
definition.
And a giant controller?
And one that you really need an actual controller to play
Well,
with.
So that is kind of funny though. Like,
where you
really,
can use exactly one Wii U tablet per game and no more.
Really, all the Switch is the vision of the Wii U executed correctly.
Right.
I don't think there was a vision for the Wii U.
No, it is exactly what they wanted the Wii U to be. Like the Wii U, you could see it. It had that form factor. It has the same size screen. It's just in standard definition. It has those controllers. They're just not detachable, so you can't dock it, and you can't. They couldn't put enough power so that you could take it on the go. Like the vision was there. It just they were like the Wii U was like ahead of its time almost.
They tried,
I don't know about that.
They tried, but they really hit the ball
I don't think
in
you
the
can
opposite
rescue
direction.
the Wii U. Yeah, I think that I think there were some decent ideas in the Wii U. This was also at the same time that iPads were blowing up in a big way, or a little after iPads have blown up in a big way, but tablets were all the rage in a way that I think since then they've fallen off a little bit. So it wasn't super original
why
in
is
that
the
respect.
Switch doing... Why is because the Switch you could
this is my second and
go
third
ahead.
points. So it's been everyone knows that the Wii U is a terrible name for a console.
Yes.
It's like the equivalent of the Xbox One name.
Not only
It's-
that, but the marketing.
the marketing was bad.
yeah,
It's
atrocious.
confusing. Like people who aren't big Nintendo fans, like evidently didn't know that it was a separate console. They thought it was an add-on. So when people don't know that your new console is a console, that's obviously a problem. And obviously the marketing campaign for the Switch has been excellent. And then the last thing that I'll end on is that I think the Wii U was a victim of the expectations game, which was that the Wii had been a tremendous unit, mover. It had sold very, very well. It had a
101
large
million.
impact.
Right.
So anything that didn't meet that threshold was going to be probably unfairly panned. Like, I don't think the Wii U in actuality is that much worse than the Wii. I think the Wii is overrated. But then if you look at the Switch, I think the Switch is the beneficiary of the expectations game, which is that the Wii U is perceived to have been so horrible that anything that wasn't apparently made by orangutans, they were going to be like, oh wow, a competent console that has an argument for its own existence. Bravo, Nintendo, bravo. And people would be like, yeah, this isn't trash. Like, Nintendo's back at it. Nintendo, our favorite console, with all of our favorite characters from when we were 11-year-olds playing, GameCube and N64. Nintendo's back.
I agree with
At
both
least
of
in
those.
part. I don't
mean,
think that's the main thing, but I think that
definitely-
factors into the success story.
after you flop so hard, it's hard not to succeed compared to your last console.
Yeah.
But I also think, like you were saying, Chris, the Switch is definitely what they were trying to do with the Wii U. They fucked it up real bad the first time.
Like looking at things now, I think it was fairly brave of Nintendo to not give up on that whole tablety control. I get that the Wii U, you're holding the tablet while you're playing on the TV, but to an extent they kept the form factor. They kept they could have been like, all right, I think we're done with the gimmicks. I think we should play it safe, but I think there's a little bit of courage behind what they kind of did with the Switch, because the Switch could have been just as bad as the Wii U. Could just looking at the two from a glance, you can see how one was the immediate successor of the other.
Right.
And my only additional point to this is part of the reason I think the Switch is doing so well, not all of it, but definitely part of it. When the Wii U came out, it was at what people were perceiving to be as the end of the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It was 2012. Xbox One, PS4 came out 2013. So people were looking at these systems, or people were looking at the Wii U, and they're like, yeah, it's a little bit more powerful than the PS3, 3 and the Xbox 360, but
these are about to be gone.
Yeah, these are about to be gone, and it's barely more powerful. Like it's not doing anybody any favors here. And there was also a little bit of fatigue where people kind of knew that these systems were on their way out. There was a new generation coming. If you just hold off a little longer, you'll get that whole next generation. You won't get the Nintendo bump. You'll get the whole next generation. Whereas the Switch is kind of in a position right now where, yeah, the 3 or the 1 and the PS4 have been out for a few years, but I think they have probably minimum 2, probably 3 guaranteed years left in them. They're about 4 years old now. I think we'll hit 6 to 7 on them because PS4 is selling gangbusters. And Xbox just released the Xbox One X, which would imply that there's a little bit of life left. They're not going to be announcing a new console next year.
No.
And there's not a whole lot of like dying down. Like people aren't getting tired of the consoles quite yet. At least that was my perception with my 360. Things were starting to run bad. You were starting to get 3 discs for a game. It was
ridiculous.
It was getting a little messy, and yeah, they were 10 years old, ish. But I think the Switch kind of launched at that perfect time where, like we said with the Black Friday argument, people had already purchased the PS4 and the Xbox One. They wanted one. The hype, nobody's saving money for a PS5 right now, and the Switch comes out at this reasonable price point. And maybe this is the time when you have some money to spend on video games because you haven't bought a console in a while, and you'll have the portability factor.
I think there's there's some good points. Yeah,
just kind of a timing issue, really.
Like but I think that it's like, again, I think this is like a little. They get a bit of an unfair advantage here. I guess you could just say it's good timing on their part, but like when you consider that the Xbox One, whichever, and the PS4, whatever, have been out for like some four-ish years now, and the Switch is like sort of competitive with those consoles, like it demonstrates that, again, like without having some sort of gimmick, like, boy, Nintendo would not be in good shape.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the portability goes a long way, and that like it's not a portable Xbox One, but it's close.
Yeah, it's close to what a portable Xbox One from 3 years ago would have been.
Yeah.
And I understand they could have gone down a different road and like just made a console, but then like, what's the point? Like, there are already 2 that do that. So yeah, I think you're right that they didn't launch with those guys. They didn't have to as directly compete with them, and that they're not launching, like you said, right at the end. They're not just getting looked over like this. Like they didn't get the Sega Saturn effect where the PlayStation just came in and fucked them up.
Dreamcast.
It was the Dreamcast.
PS2.
My bad.
No, that works too. But the Dreamcast also had that issue where
they suck.
The PS2 just dropped, and they said, "Hey,
Oops.
DVD player built in." Everyone bought it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. And like, I don't know. I just think expectations are really important. Like you said, the idea that like people are satisfied with this catalog of games, I think is like demonstrates how willing people are to like. It just shows how low the bar is right now for Nintendo to have overcome. Like, to have this catalog of games on another console would be embarrassing.
Ouch.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't think embarrassing is.
There are
mean from a third-party standpoint.
From a period, there are two excellent new games that have come out on the Switch.
I don't think any console.
That, dude. No.
Mario and
any
Zelda.
console launches without any titles.
Mario.
The Wii U launched with 30.
Yeah, but
and a bunch of those were famous.
Dude, how much did the Xbox
It was a terrible
One
console, but it had a
with?
decent line. I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Halo. That was it.
Didn't launch with Halo.
It didn't?
What, the original Xbox?
No,
but the Xbox
One.
No, it did not launch with Halo.
Yeah,
what did
and
it launch
also,
with then?
Not much. Third-party games.
And it
There you
also hasn't
go.
been selling that well. But I mean, but from a third-party perspective, if you're the Xbox One, you're getting every new third-party game.
Yeah.
You're not getting that with the Switch.
All right.
You're getting games from a couple years ago.
Real quick.
And people are like, oh, bravo, Nintendo, you got a 4-year-old game on your console. Wow, you really got your shit together for this one. We can play Skyrim on our fucking Nokia now. Wow, thank you.
Real quick. Then we got
Lord Nintendo.
And we got to quit. Switch 9 months. 9 months. All right.
I think in 9 months it'll look bad. That's kind of my point.
No. It has been 9 months.
Oh yeah, I think like in another 9 months it'll look not so good.
Zelda, yeah.
Yeah.
You with me?
That we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have it.
You here with me?
Yeah.
All right. We got Zelda. We got Mario Kart 8.
Which is a ported title.
Are you saying it's a bad game?
Doesn't matter if it's a bad game.
Okay,
It's
but
fine.
is the library embarrassing?
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. Okay.
I
All
think
right.
Continue.
Zelda,
Continue.
ARMS,
Who gives a fuck about ARMS?
Splatoon 2,
I guess some
Again.
losers play that, like you.
whatever.
No, Splatoon 2 looks fine.
Mario Rabbids.
You said it was fine. I'll
Surprisingly
take your word
good.
for it. Did you play it?
No, but everyone has said it's very good.
I'll take your word that
But
that's
it
a good
looked
game.
like trash.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
That's a fucking disappointment.
Okay.
Launch a real fucking Fire Emblem game, Nintendo.
I can't tell if Jake's
What
making
the
fun of
fuck,
me or
dude?
being
No,
serious.
he's being
Dude,
serious.
do you know what the Fire Emblem is?
Yeah, I played.
It's
Fire Emblem.
not. No, it's not that. It's not a turn-based game.
Oh, it's the fighting one.
It's
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors. Okay. Mario Odyssey.
Fuck.
Great
that,
game.
dude.
Mario
Okay.
Odyssey is a great game.
Mario Odyssey is a good game.
Great original game. Wow.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I don't know much about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
All right. This is a big JRPG. Comes
Yeah,
out.
that's about what I know about it.
Okay.
So that's a
I don't think that's embarrassing. I
It's-
think it did fine.
From a first party and like quasi first party perspective, with like, does Xenoblade even go to the other consoles?
Second party.
Second party. Okay. So from that perspective, yeah, that's fine. But like that's the thing. The third party support, people are like, ooh, like we have Skyrim. That means that third party it's just obviously evident that no, third party developers are not developing for the Switch. All of the titles coming out now, when it's most when the hardware is most in favor of people developing for the Switch, they're already not doing it.
I think they dipped. I think all of these examples are. I think Bethesda throwing Skyrim in is a Fallout 4. I think Rockstar throwing LA Noire in is a plea for GTA 5. I think.
What do you mean?
I think this is like you dip your toe in because the Wii U didn't do well. Publishers can be skeptical. I think these are tests for should we develop ports.
Should we develop a port of Fallout 4, which came out a year and a half ago? It'll be how long until they develop that? 3 years?
Well, I mean,
in 2020, you'll be able to play Fallout 4 on the Switch. Get ready, folks. Wait with bated breath. Wolfenstein 2 is out. You will not be able to play it on the Switch until next year.
That's unfortunate.
That is literally the window from this moment on is making it more and more difficult. From the time of this moment going forward, it gets increasingly difficult for developers to develop for the Switch as well.
Yeah.
It is already underpowered.
So I'm not going to say that I'm not going to
This picture just gets worse for them as time goes on.
So I'm not sure who's developing Wolfenstein, but I wonder if it's a case of... So the two Bethesda games, Skyrim and Doom, aren't developed by... They're published by Bethesda. They're outsourced.
Are they?
Yeah.
Skyrim?
Yeah.
The port is.
Oh, the port is outsourced.
Yeah. Like the Doom port's Panic Button. I wonder if this is like an outsourcing issue where they outsource the port. I'm not saying that's a good thing. Like, yeah, they should have developed Doom in-house to come out day and date. But I do wonder if they just kind of outsource that port.
I just don't think they were ready. I
don't
think they were ready for the Switch. I mean, the one example, Wolfenstein, they were in development when the Switch launched, and I can guarantee Nintendo was not like, hey guys, we're going to launch a console in the future, so you guys should develop stuff. They were like, surprise, Switch.
That's definitely true.
I just don't think people were ready to...
But the hardware is also significantly more limited. And so they have a choice now as developers. Do you develop for the baseline hardware of the Switch, and like you limit your games to what the Switch can handle? Or do you develop for the fairly comparable hardware of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4? And at a certain point, they really start developing for the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, which both ostensibly play at 4K.
At a certain point, which is what I'm worried about.
That's like probably 2 years from now.
You start developing for the PS5 and the Xbox 2.
That's probably 3 years
I think
from now.
that's the real... For me, that's the Switch issue.
So 2 years into the Switch's life cycle, realistically, it's a generation and a half behind what's being developed for. Because let's call the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X a half generation.
That's like saying that your Xbox One is going to be trash by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
when they start
I
developing
mean,
for the Xbox 5,
from
your
that
Xbox
perspective,
One,
and-
but you're not. It's not that we're not making the argument about like,
Yeah.
ooh, the Xbox
I
One.
think-
What a cunning new console.
I think the Switch should. I think Nintendo should push a new Switch when those consoles drop, and it should be 4K docked, 1080p undocked.
That would be a feat.
I think they should do that. I think that would be the best thing for them.
I don't think they can.
And I think it should be backwards compatible. And I think it should be a continuation of the Switch brand. I think
it should play N64 cartridges.
No, I don't think it should do that.
The double switch.
The double switch.
The switchback.
No, the
mini
Switch.
discs.
No, God. The Switchback. No. Obviously, the Switch U. Obviously. Come on, guys.
Yeah, if you want.
If you were to make a sequel to a console, what would you?
Yeah,
what would
let's
you
just
name
call
it?
let's just
Switch
call
One.
it the Wii U.
The
That's a
Switch
great
One.
idea,
Switch
dude.
One.
Let's call it the Wii U. That's gonna work.
The new.
Let's call it the
Switch
Switch
One U.
The Switch One U.
The new Switch One.
No, the
U.
Switch
Switch
One
XL.
S.
XL
With Knuckles.
Light with Knuckles.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up.
That was a long
but
question.
It was fun.
well,
I had
it
a
got
good-
off
it
a
was a
little,
good
but it
one.
was fun. It was fun. We're gonna wrap this up. I do want to say that we want to hear you. We want to hear what you have to say about Activision. We want to hear what you have to say about the Nintendo Switch. We want to hear what you have to say about Black Friday sales. We want to hear what you have to say about Mario cereal. We want to hear everything. We just everything we've gone over. We want comments. We're dying for comments. We
Which
love
host
the comments.
do you think is the coolest?
Which host do you think is the biggest Nintendo cuck? Please comment
Like
below.
and subscribe.
And like and subscribe and share. And again, let us know. If we get 3 subs, Jake will eat a jar of mayonnaise. All right.
You'll
That's
have
all
to
we
be
have
a
for
Patreon to see it, though.
Exactly. Only Patreons. That's all we have for tonight. Have a good one. See you next week.